What's up, YouTube? You know what I mean? Please forgive me for that. I just finished eating, had me some tacos and whatnot and some rice, so I might have had a little bit of crumbs right here. But please forgive me. You know what I mean? If you see any crumbs anywhere, just let me know. This is Tony Harvin, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Tony Harvin. I greet everybody upon this evening. This here is another Let's Talk conversation video. I posed the question to the people. How should a man approach a woman that he's interested in? Y'all know my disclaimer, I'm not a pastor preacher. I don't hold any type of office in the church. So please do not lay claims of those titles on me. We're not here to violate any type of community guidelines, any type of copyright infringement, or any type of privacy guidelines at all. Shout out to everybody who's going to join us live now, in the middle, and those who are going to check it out when it uploads to YouTube. What's up to everybody out there? Hope everybody's doing well. What's up to the haters, the trolls? What's up to the haters and trolls and whatnot in the background? It should be a good conversation. It should be a great conversation. You know, I know some brothers, they come on here or they inbox me or whatever the case may be in reference to, you know, somebody that they may be interested in and whatnot. You understand? So we're going to go to the chat room right quick. Shout some people out. What's up to Solid Ground says, with sense, respect, and no wicked agenda and holiness, he says, plus wholehearted, genuine, and godly permitted, be it informal or formal. Greetings, Brother Harvin, and chat room. Appreciate that. You said with sense and respect. Great point. Yeah, I mean, he says, no wicked agenda. No wicked agenda. I know what you mean by that. I know what you mean by that for sure. What's up to Henry Ross? He said, respect, humbly, and with a vision. If not, don't even approach. What's up to Ben Johnson? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Lewis? He says, in the world, it was so easy to approach a woman, but in holiness, it kind of seems taboo. Honestly, not really sure. Would like to hear some good advice from the sisters. Taboo? Well, me personally, and I'm just speaking in general. I'm not speaking because I'm shopping for anybody. You know what I mean? For the most part, this is just a conversation in general. You know, I would like to hear from the sisters too. You know what I'm saying? That's a good point right there. I don't know how some individuals approached a woman back in the world or whatever, but I remember as, you know, a teenager in my early 20s, it was just regular, man. You know what I'm saying? Like Henry Ross said, with respect. You know what I mean? If you carry that same trait with you as far as like approaching a woman with respect, I think one should have no problem. You know, I think some guys are very intimidated by godly women. I think they're intimidated. You know what I mean? By godly women. I don't know why, but you know, I get a lot of questions in reference to this topic. All right. What's up to L. Crawford? He says, I like the honesty. I just know this is going to be a great live, but I'm going to be at work when Tony starts. I should watch when I get out. Appreciate that. What's up to Anthony Nelson? He says, good afternoon. TOG family, approach her with caution. These days, you never know what's on her mind and what she has been through in life. For sure. What's up to Helena, Nathan, Kurt Ellis, Renee, Dioki, Robin Harris. Kurt Ellis said, just be friendly. Show yourself friendly. What's up to Shemaya 40? Renee Burton says, God bless everyone and their families. I wasn't going to miss this. What's up to Paulette? Joyce David B. Shemaya 40 says, if you like a woman, you'll have to get to know her. And she has someone, and she has someone or not, because all women are not available. You're right about that. That's true. You're right. All women is not available. I definitely agree with you on that one. All right. The Yoki said, just be honest and sincere about your feelings and be clear what you're looking for. Everyone is not looking for a relationship. That's true. That's true. What's up to Albert Fuller? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Sister in Christ Myers says, I think the brother gentleman should be straightforward with the conversation. Speak honestly. It shows maturity. What's up to Joe Rogan? Excuse me. not Joe Rogan. That's my fault. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about Fear Factor right now. What's up to Joan Rogers? Shout out to you. What's up to G Money says, what's up T? Talk back to me. Let me know what it be. A man should approach a woman with confidence and kind, respectable compliment, not in a derogatory or subliminal way, but in a polite manner. Absolutely. Polite manner. Shemaiah 40 says, be yourself. If you're going to talk to a woman, no lies, honesty, and keep it godly. Wonderful. What's up to 1804 Beamer? What's up to BZ? David B says, don't be creepy. You're right. Don't be creepy. Don't be creepy. Don't look creepy either. You understand? Don't have a habit of buying prostitutes. Huh? About that one. No, listen, no woman out there wants a man who has an itch to go out and buy prostitutes. I just had to throw that out there. All right, what's up? What's up to Elwood Fuller? Shout out to you. You says observe first, then proceed with caution. For sure, proceed with caution. Sister in Christ Mara says, I forgot to greet everyone. This was exciting talk. Appreciate that. What's up to Evelyn Washington, Gwendolyn, Kate Alexander, Renee. He says, Pastor said, if a man finds a good wife, he also explains what kind of wife. He also explains that. What kind of wife? You know what I mean? Helena says, be honest and respectful and just be yourself in a godly way. What's up to, what is that? Jesus Christ is God, 9546. Dioki says, be thick-skinned if you're rejected too. Oh, rejection. Ah, man. Rejection. Take it on the chin. If a sister don't want to proceed with you, then hey, it is what it is, right? You know what I mean? Maybe she don't want to, talk to you right now. Maybe she want to see if you're patient. Maybe you got to have patience. You know what I mean? What's up to Sion? Shout out to you. Shemaiah 40 says, always be patient when it comes to acting when you're coming for a woman that you want to be yours. Make sure she's godly as well as you are. And she dressed modest because a woman who shows body parts are not. Very interesting. David B says, there's plenty of fish in the sea. What's up to Funny Madrid? Shout out to you. Stay dedicated says, don't overthink it. Just be honest, praying for a God-fearing woman. It says, it does take patience. 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 What's up to John Smith? Shout out to you. G Money says, a man should know his surroundings and approach a woman accordingly, meaning he needs to have game for the appropriate setting. Game. What do you mean by that? Elaborate a little bit more about that for those who don't know about that. You know what I mean? You said one thing that I do know is a woman wants to feel a little chemistry. Chemistry. If it ain't no chemistry, then hey, like somebody said, you got to be able to accept rejection. You know what I mean? Somebody said earlier, don't be creepy. You know what I mean? You see her on social media, don't keep hitting her up. You know what I mean? Don't keep bothering her. You say, hey, how you doing? Be patient. She may want to contact you days later. You understand? Don't be so too for it. Oh man, you look good in that modest dress over there. Wow. You understand? No. No. You understand? She might have some nice curves and all that. It might be alright. But relax. You know what I'm saying? Relax. Alright? Shemaiah says, and hopefully he don't be mad if she's not interested in him. And go on and start talking about her in a bad way. You gotta be able to take that one on the chin. She may be interested in somebody else. Wow. She may be interested in your friend. Or somebody you call brother. How you gonna feel? You able to take that? You understand? What's up to G Williams? Shout out to you. You said test her spirit. What's up to Sandra Williams? Shemaya 40 said that's what I said. Patience is all it takes in learning someone. What's up to Sandra Robinson? He says hello Tony and everyone in chat. Appreciate that. Sion says chemistry. Shemaya 40 says yes indeed we have to have some things in common. Appreciate that at Funny Madrid. 1804 Beamer LOL, you says. David B says stop with the DMs. Oh yeah. Sometimes I get emails or inboxes and dear sisters. I don't kiss and tell. You understand? If somebody come in my inbox, somebody text me or whatever the case may be, or give me a phone call, I don't spew it out over the internet. You understand that? Because there's individuals out there that are creepy. You understand? There's individuals out there they come off creepy. You know what I mean? And there are people who look at me as a little brother or a big brother or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Because I'm right there. I'm on go time for them. You understand? There was a sister that a so-called brother is bothering her and whatnot. Things like that. And we cool. Oh, yeah. And he coming off creepy. Oh, he going to get checked a little bit. You understand? Because you don't want to make that woman feel uncomfortable at the end of the day. You understand? But you got a lot of creepy guys out there. All right? What's up? Shemaya 40 says, but it's always good to let a woman know if you do like her in that way. Huh? You said, just so she'll know, even if it don't work out, at least you did tell her. I mean, that's true. That's true. At some point in the conversation, if she gives you the opportunity, I mean, how you come off to let her know that you're interested in her matters. You know what I mean? Corey says, I'm trying to train myself, not focus on women. What you mean? What you mean by that? All right, Shemaya 40 says, because we have some that has been taught that been liking someone for years, but never say anything until he or she had became married, in which was too late. Wow. And you know what? You're right about that. You're right. They wait a while, and then years later, they see that this sister done married this brother. Now they upset. Now they jealous at that brother. For what reason? You understand? Yoki says love notes are still cute. Love notes. Love notes. Flowers. You know what I mean? Love notes. Wow. Back in grammar school, we used to write on the paper, would you go with me? That's how we used to do back in grammar school. You know what I mean? The friends will hook us up with the girl. You pass notes, and then you put on a paper, would you go with me? Huh? Listen, those were the fun days. I don't know what's going on in these days in general, but those days was a little funner. What's up to Holiness After Hours? Shout out to you. Victory says, are you courting someone, Tony? I don't put my business like that out there. You understand? I'm gonna leave that as a question mark. Dot. You understand? I'm gonna leave that as a question mark. Nor am I looking. You understand? Nor am I looking. So I'm not. I'm not gonna answer that question. You're gonna have false prophets. Who he talking to? This, that. They gonna be searching. They gonna be looking for documents, huh? They gonna be looking for documents on a woman. If I said that, you know what I mean? You gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. You understand? All right. David B says, hopefully after you get to know them, you put pen and a paper. What does that mean? Is that a marriage license or something like that? Shiloh says women can be distraction. What you mean by that? Let me know what you mean by that. You know what I mean? But I've learned, Victory, when you put your relationship business out on the internet, and whatnot, everybody is not like to the public like me. You know what I mean? Me personally, I don't care what people see or know or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? And it could be a big, crazy situation on social media if I was, because we did that last year, a year or 2 years ago or something like that. You know what I mean? And I had to repent publicly on here for that Jezebel and whatnot. You know what I mean? So I think it's best, if you're single and whatnot, and you know what I mean, you get to learn yourself more. You know what I mean? When you're single and you ain't thinking about nobody. Not saying everybody could be single, but I'm just giving out, you know what I mean, situations that, for the single people out there who have came on here when we have talks like this. All right? Herb Wise says a man should approach a lady with respect and confidence. Confidence. Herb Wise, what up? Known Unknown says, I'm not what you need. I don't know what you're talking about right there. Corey says, I personally feel like if I focus on God and my goals at the right opponent time, the right one will come that I'm looking for. Huh. Very interesting. All right. Oh, you put love notes at David B. All right. Sister in Christ Myra says, love notes are still cute. Keep things private. Absolutely. All right. Victory says, how should godly dating look like versus worldly dating? You know what? That's a good question right there. That's a great question right there. You know what I mean? I would like to hear some people answers upon that. You know what I mean? Because me, coming up, a date was like bowling, playing pool. I don't know what else we did. Go to the candy store, Dave and Buster's, stuff like that. It wasn't nothing crazy. You know what I mean? I never been to a club a day in my life. You know what I mean? I never did that. Going partying on a date. Nah, man, it was just basic stuff. You understand? And when I see on Facebook and stuff like that, I don't, be nosy. I'm not a nosy person. You know what I mean? But when I look at my news feed, you see some brothers and sisters going on outings. You know what I mean? Respectful outings, whether it's bowling, top golf, and stuff like that. And I see that them two are interested in each other. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. You know what I mean? They're going playing top golf and, you know what I mean? They're leaving church and stuff like that. So I look at stuff like that as far as like encouragement and whatnot. All right. What's up, the peer aspiration? Shout out to you. G Money says, what I mean about game in an appropriate setting is that if you see a woman at a restaurant, you might want to say hi and ask, do you come here often? G Money, you said, if it is yes, what do you suggest I order with a nice smile? I mean, hey, however, a guy want to come off, as far as like approaching her and I think that's a good way too. I think that's one of a good way of doing it. What's up to Michael Hollingsworth? Shemaya says, I can't lie. I love to see real genuine love in a couple because you can really tell when they love one another, not just behind closed doors, but in person as well, for sure. What's up to Marcia? Her wise says, confidence says a lot about a person's character. Absolutely. All right. Michael Hollingsworth says, always put God first, for sure. 1804 Beamer says, there's a big difference. Golly is a lot of don't that you can't do in worldly. All right. What's up to Maureen George? Shemaiah says, well, first off, do you worship the Lord Jesus Christ, and do you believe that I guess you meant there is only one God, is the right way to start off things off, excuse me. What's up to pure aspirations? Well, what if a person says, contrary to what you believe in? You know what I mean? What if they say things that's contrary to what you believe in? Or not everything that you believe in, and holiness and whatnot. All right. Pure Aspiration says, I believe it starts with self-awareness. Find out what you like or and dislike. Learn your self-worth and then introduce those factors to the person you're trying to get to know as a friend first. As a friend. As a friend. Great point right there. Friendship. Friendship. You know what I mean? It's very important. You know what I mean? Known unknown says Floyd or Roy. You talking about Mayweather? And Jones, Roy Jones. What's up to Khadijah Reeves? Shout out to you. Corey Waiters says, I think you are a great boxer. Appreciate that. Thank you. You know what I mean? Victory says, you says, can you date someone not in the same church? Good question. Great question. Great question. I'm giving from an advice standpoint, not like a minister standpoint. I'm giving from a standpoint of just talking, having basic conversations. You know what I mean? That is a good question because some people probably do that. You know what I mean? There's some people are in different church buildings that may preach and believe the same things. You know what I mean? Although, you know, not a lot of churches preach and believe the same things as far as like holiness, but you just never know. You know what I mean? That's where the questions come when y'all sit down or you have a phone conversation about y'all beliefs and whatnot, I would say. All right. Pure Aspiration says, I am learning scripture and this has truly kept me true to know if the person is of God or not. Absolutely. Shemaiah 40 says, Daniel, what we are trying to start won't work at all. We have to believe the same thing and live by that by all means. Well, here's the deal. Would you not give a person a chance? You understand? What if they're willing to learn about what you believe in? What if they're willing to learn that? You know what I mean? What if they say, listen, give me some time, show me some more of the video, show me some more of your pastor that you listen to. I'm willing to learn more, to understand more of what you believe in. You know what I mean? Or you just kick them to the curb. Let me know. All right. Let me see where we at. 101 says, greetings, bro. How do you first know if they are single or previously married with surviving spouses? Also, do all married women wear a ring? Well, I can't speak for them. I can't speak for other married women. I don't know. You understand? I don't know. You know what I mean? How do you first know if they are single or previously married with surviving spouses? I mean, of course, questioning. You know, ask questions. Or I think it depends on the state that you're in. You know what I mean? If you're really close to somebody, and I think Evangelist Taj was also speaking about like a background check. Evangelist Taj spoke about that, like getting a certified background check. We ain't talking about from online and stuff like that, but from the state. That's the most accurate background check one can get. You know, if you're talking with somebody and you want a background check, listen, tell them go to the courthouse. Tell them go to the courthouse. If you're in Jersey, you got to do yours, I think it's online. And you send it to Trenton, which is the state capital of New Jersey. And they send you the information from the courthouse and stuff like that. You know what I mean? From the government. You know what I mean? All this online stuff ain't accurate. You know what I mean? So you said investigate. You know what I mean? The best bet is, hey, tell them go to the courthouse, get that background check. You know what I mean? It's 100% accurate. 100% accurate. The courthouse, not online. You know what I mean? It's not accurate. It's not too accurate online. You know what I mean? All right. What's up, the Cali boy? Shout out to you because you can go online, right? And it won't show that this person has been married. If they got married like somewhere out of the country somewhere. You know what I mean? A lot of online stuff is not accurate. One has to be very, very careful with that stuff. All right? What's up to Renee Burton? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. He says that's too much. He said that's too much. Evangelist Todd says also get a blood test. He said get a blood test. You know what I mean? That's another good thing right there. A blood test. You never know what people is packing. Huh? You never know what people is packing, especially if they pick up prostitutes. Huh? You never know. You understand? You never know if they still got that monkey on their back. Huh? You just never know with these individuals out here. You understand? You hear me? Fella could have picked up a prostitute 10 years ago, or prostitutes 10 years ago. Nasty. You know what I mean? And picked up a disease that he can't get rid of and won't tell you. Won't tell the people. You know what I mean? You just never know. You understand? Folks have picking up them prostitutes years ago and still got the monkey on their back. What's up, the brother SV? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Khadijah Reeves says, as long as they believe in Jesus, the Bible, give it a shot go to each other's church. If it's meant to be, you'll come together. Wonderful. Shemaiah 40 says, I mean, that's different. And then we will be able to come as one and on one accord. With that, if you want to learn and live this way as well, we can be friends until things get better. Okay, that's what's up. What's up to Robin Harris? Victory says they could have done a traditional marriage if they are African. All right. Shiloh, you wrote Ecclesiasticus 25:13. What's up to S. Rod? G Money says you can have old-fashioned fun with it. Like if you are at a club, send the waiter to her table if she's alone or with her friends and have him ask, what are you drinking or eating tonight to break a little ice? The club. Well, I don't know how a club works. I've never been to a club and whatnot. I remember going to a lounge, a little bit more laxed and laid back and whatnot, but I don't know how a club works for the most part. What about the supermarket? What about church? What about if a brother see a female in church that he's interested in? You know what I mean? How would you what would you suggest at G Money? All right, Sister in Christ Mary said that's a must. Get that blood test. Absolutely. Get that blood test. You understand? You don't know if these fellas out there have been picking up prostitutes before. You know what I mean? You don't know that. You don't know if they've been messing with Transformers. You understand? Or bumping mustaches. Huh? You don't know that. Or bumping pelvises with another man. You don't know that. You know what I mean? Or try to run a choo-choo on a woman. You don't know that. You understand? All right? Prayer aspirations, I agree. If both are as serious as they are saying it's worth it, safety is essential. Indoor says, and ask for the birth certificate. They are hiding Adam's apple out here. Transformers. All right? Henry Ross says, is something wrong approaching a girl at Walmart, or do you suppose to approach up? What you mean by up? I mean Walmart, Target, Sam's Club, BJ's. What else is out there? Publix, Harris Teeter. You know what I mean? The store. If you in New York, the bodega. You know what I mean? If you in New York, the pizza shop. You know what I mean? Me personally, I don't see nothing wrong as long as you're respectful. You know what I mean? All right. Cali Boy says herpes. 101 says, thanks, bro. I'm in the UK. Been a widower for 4 years. Loneliness is hard, but finding the right one is even harder, it seems. Shemaiah 40 says, to me, that going too far when you just trying to holler. What's up to John Marcus, EFP? Shout out to you. T McGee. Shout out to you. Yeah, you got to chill out with that one, that Cali Boy, man. Nah. All right. L Power says all that is true. All that is so true. I have no problem getting tested if espoused for marriage. Don't want to end up marrying my cousin or something like that. Friendship if God say so. You right about that. That's a good point. That's a good point. Run into somebody you don't even know we are related or could be related. It's a small world out here. You understand? And that happens too. That happens. That happens often. You probably could be on vacation in I don't know, Jamaica, and the next thing you know, you meet somebody also from the States, and then years later you find out you're brothers and sisters. There's been stories like that. You know. Somebody 40 says blood test means that you're about to get down and y'all not married yet. No, I don't think that, because a blood test could reveal other things like STDs. You know what I mean? Like HIV or AIDS and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You don't want to wait till the last minute. You get married and this person didn't tell you that they got the AIDS or the monkey on their back. You know what I mean? You want to be very, very careful. So it's just not about, getting down in the bedroom, I would say. I don't know. I mean, if that's what you think, then hey, as Shemaiah 40. Khadijah Reeves says, oh, where it's out here deep, check the health department. They post the percentage in North Carolina. Even break down the city. South Carolina is high in syphilis. Charlotte is high in AIDS. Wow. David B says, I'm pretty sure that a believer should not be seeking love in the club. Yo, David B, you funny. You is funny. EFP got the eyes. John Doe said, this is an interesting topic. Some of us are so used to approaching women in the world, they may not know how to approach a woman in holiness. Like somebody said earlier, confidence. It's all about confidence and whatnot. You understand? It's all about confidence. But some brothers are intimidated by that. I think PJ, I don't know if it might have been a video I was watching from the 1900s, the programs. And he was explaining that somebody reached out to him to ask about a sister. It was on a broadcast. I forgot which broadcast it was, but it was in the 1900s though. Fella reached out to him because he was interested in his sister. You know what I mean? And he explained that she's militant. So a lot of the sisters that I see, they can come off in a militant way, but it's a cautious type of way. And I get it. You know what I mean? And I respect that for sure. All right. Herb Wise says most of the women men meet today have OnlyFans. Times have definitely changed. OnlyFans. Wow. OnlyFans. What idiot would sit there and he done worked hard for a week or two, right, to spend his money on OnlyFans just for a picture or a video or something like that, or whatever's on OnlyFans and whatnot. You know what I mean? For those out there, if you're knowledgeable, if you've been on OnlyFans, you know what I mean? But from what I've heard is like, I guess it's somebody they like. Maybe their next door neighbor is on OnlyFans and they pay for pictures. What man is doing that? What do I look like paying money just to see a picture of a woman? Well, I look stupid. You know what I mean? I done worked hard. I done work 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week, and spend my money on some woman for a picture, one picture, a couple of pictures, for what? You know what I mean? But you got some men out there, they spend a whole check on OnlyFans. Idiots. You know what I mean? Idiots. Kylie Boy says, pleasant conversations. David B says, we also should not be going to service seeking a wife or husband. That's true. Michael Hollisworth says, I learned just to stay humble and be yourself. Absolutely. G Money says, I'm going to keep it 100. A brother needs to know how to read the room, whatever environment it is, church, supermarket, sporting event, etc. Use discernment and go in with an appropriate line. For sure. I agree with you on that one. For sure. Henry Ross says, because there's dudes out there that says you're supposed to approach up like a CEO or a manager, a booze type of girl. Oh, I see what you're talking about. I mean, hey, man, it is what it is. It doesn't matter if she's like a CEO of a Walmart or a cashier at McDonald's at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But some people go for, certain preferences as far as like finances and whatnot. Cali boy, you put third cousins, okay, question mark. What? I don't know. I don't get what you really trying to say. You gotta elaborate that one. Shemaya 40 says, know who your family is before seeking a wife or a woman to be your wife. For sure. Shemaya 40 says, but who's going that far if you just trying to become my friend first? All right. Indoor says, do you believe friendship and trust must first, you said trust must first be established before a man approaches a woman in that way? For sure. I agree. You know what I mean? After learning throughout the years certain situations, friendship is definitely a factor, man. What's up, the real deal? 101 says, when we looking for a wife, are we MEM first or Christian? What do you mean? You put MEM? What you mean by that? You said the reason is she could look fine on the outside, but trying to reveal the truth to them isn't another excitement. You gotta elaborate a little bit more on that one. Sister Christ Mary says some old background is okay as long as the person has changed his life for holiness for God. People can be reformed. That's true. But what if the man was in prison for touching on a kid and got out? Huh? What about that? You know what I'm saying? What if he did 10 years, came to holiness, said, listen, I was in prison. I'm a registered sex offender. What if he say that? What if he said he got arrested and the charge was whatever they give them type of people? He came to holiness. Huh? I mean, you did say that. You understand? What if he used to buy prostitutes? And he got the monkey on his back. Men and women. Huh? Let me know. You understand? That's rough right there. That's rough. You understand? That is, yes, people can change. But certain things, it's just like, certain things, you just like, wow. You know? All right? Let me see. Just scrolling through what's up to them with Doc. You said just for a pic. You laughing. All right? Real deal says some people are single but not available. Henry Ross. You said Jesse Lee Pearson is being accused of being a skittle. Have y'all heard this? Cause he have accusers. Well, honestly, I haven't heard that. In general. Right? I haven't heard that. Roland Lee. What up, what up? Charlotte Ann. Dimmer Doc said a picture won't move. Oh man. All right. Patrick T says, excuse me. Back when I was dating, I would get and she would get STI screening before the second date. Okay. All right. Her wife says, I got a friend who met a lady. He thought she was a nice lady because she was very humble in person, but she hit him with her secret OnlyFans. Wow. OnlyFans. OnlyFans. That's crazy, man. I don't understand how these sick men out here spend their money on that. I don't get it. I really don't understand how these men out here waste their whole check on that. You know what I mean? I never in my life been to a strip club. Never. You understand? Never in my life been to a strip club. Never in my life went to some area to buy prostitutes or nothing like that. Never. You understand? Never been on OnlyFans or whatever you call that stuff. Never. You know what I mean? What do I look like doing that trash? Huh? That is trash right there. You understand? All right, her Cali boy said, just be yourself. If she feels you cool, if not, keep it moving. Peace of mind over everything. You wrote. Appreciate that. Let me see. John Doe said, what I meant is, what if a man is used to being a womanizer? Once he comes to holiness, he may have difficulty reprogramming his mind and approaching sisters respectfully. Oh, okay. Okay. You're right about that. You're right about that for sure. All right. But it takes time. You got to be humble, patience, and stuff like that. You know? I'd say it takes a lot of time. All right. 8488 says, before approaching a wife, set your heart right first, then your pocket, and the Lord will point her out. Your pockets. Not that it's all about finances, but a man's supposed to be able to take care of himself. Right? A man's supposed to be able to pay his bills. If he got kids, handle his kids too financially. You know what I mean? Not cheating people out of $8,000 neither. Go out there and work, you know what I'm saying, to get that. Save that money up. Get your credit right. You know what I mean? Not trying to rob and steal from people and con people out of $8 grand. You know, be a man. Take care of yourself. Work. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Have a normal job and have side hustles and stuff like that. Be able to provide for your own place. Your own place. You understand? You don't have to. Oh, you got $100, huh? What are you spending your money on? Huh? Be able to hold it down first, I'd say. I think we had a conversation, and shout out to Christopher Wright. That was like 2 or 3 years ago, man. All right. G Money says the chat needs to get back to your original question and not off on a tangent. They need to provide recommendations on how a man should approach a woman. Come back to the topic. He said, let's make it make sense. All right, cool. EFP says, who brought a prostitute? Oh, man, who brought a prostitute? I like to antagonize people because I know the haters and trolls is listening. You know? Oh, man. Wow. You know what I mean? Them prostitutes will give you the monkey on your back. You know what I'm saying? Be careful out there, man. Leave them prostitutes alone. You understand? All right? Dioki says, no notes on my car. I'm not going to say that individual's name. You know what I mean? But you'll get the gist of it. You'll get the gist of it when I throw little pop shots out there. All right? Dioki says, no notes on my car with any object. I don't know if I should be flattered or scared. Shout out Ann says, Tony, what's up again with the notification on your channel? I just happened to be scrolling and you popped up. That's YouTube. That's YouTube. YouTube, they don't send like the notifications to all my subscribers and whatnot. I don't know why. Just a small amount. I don't know. Hopefully in the near future, YouTube can fix that. You know what I mean? And fix it whereas though they can send it to all of these subscribers, not just a small percentage. All right? And on time at that. What's up to Harry O? Dioki says, honesty is always the best policy. He says snow bunnies. What are they talking about, man? John Doe says, Cali, you talking about snow bunnies. Dr. Umar will not approve. Dr. Umar? Dr. Umar. Wow. What are we talking about? All right. Shamari 40 says, it's crazy these days, Brother Tony. The stuff they doing today is not shocking. Michael Hollisworth says, if we are planning on dating a sister or a brother in First Church of our Lord Jesus Christ, you really have to be careful because some of them are marriage material. I agree. Definitely agree for sure. Dioki says, be true to yourself. Excuse me, be yourself, be your true self. Don't invent no fake personality to fool anybody. If you're messy, let me know you're messy for sure. All right. Cali Boy TOG says, what if you don't want to be with nobody and just be good friends for a while? I mean, that's cool, man. I mean, that's on you. You know what I mean? You're obligated to make it that way, however you want it. Renee Burton says, it would really take a lot of thinking and planning. He would have to pass a note. Everybody at church watching. Well, there's social media. A lot of the brothers and sisters are connected through social media. You know what I mean? One thing I would recommend if a brother is interested in a sister and she got social media, I'm not saying stalker. You know what I mean? I'm just saying be very aware. Don't be, keep liking her picture and leaving comments and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's, to me, it could be like annoying at the end of the day. You understand? It could be very, very annoying if I'm just, okay, if I see a sister and I'm just hypothetically speaking, I'm not specifying anybody, and I'm just liking and commenting all the time. Like, no. You understand that? No way. Move smoothly. You know what I mean? Move very, very, very smoothly because you got a lot of nosy people, like you said. You know what I mean? You said if people watching in churches, people watching on social media. You know what I mean? Once you like and comment, it can appear on the other side of the people. I mean, whatnot. It's a lot of nosy people. A lot. A lot of nosy people. A lot. Not only on the inside, but also on the outside. And whatnot. You know what I mean? So it's a lot. And there's something about folks who are just very, very nosy. They just want the tea on this. They want the tea on that. Even if it's a lie. They don't care. They just want some type of tea. You know what I mean? All right. Let me see. All right. Pure Aspiration says, how to approach a woman. Be honest and state your intentions, period. G Money says, there are two things that the global universe is fascinated with, especially men. And that is and crime. As long as the world exists, those two areas of interest will trump any concern man has. You're right about that. You know what I mean? I know what a snow bunny is, fella. I just want to know what y'all was talking about with a snow bunny. What does that have to do with this? What does that have to do with this? Snow bunny, black, Afghan, Indian, Filipino, or Japanese, Jamaican, you know what I mean, Trinidadian, Dominicana, or however you pronounce that, Puerto Rican. You know what I mean? Woman, I don't discriminate. You hear me? You understand? I don't discriminate. Caucasian, you know what I'm saying? I don't discriminate. No way, especially when I was younger, man. We go to the mall 17, 16, Saturday. You know what I mean? You go to Newport Mall in Jersey City. I had the braids, the earring, the chain, the watch. Penny Hardaway jersey. You know what I'm saying? The blue bandana. You know? we in Newport Mall. You understand? Just, hawking the woman down. But like you said, somebody said earlier, it's a different way how to approach a woman in these days. You know what I mean? I have no more of a blue bandana and a long Penny Hardaway jersey on and with braids and earrings and stuff like that. You know what I mean? All right? Thank God for maturity. Thank God for growth. You know what I mean? Because I didn't always talk like this. No, I didn't always talk like this. You know what I mean? If you heard me when I was younger, it'd be a totally different person You know what I mean? Talking. But thank God for growth. Thank God for fixing my speech. Thank God for teaching me and showing me the way how to communicate with people and talking with people. You know what I mean? For the most part. All right. Henry Ross says, there's nothing wrong. Snow bunnies are dark bunnies. So what are we talking about? Racist much. I don't know either. I don't know where they get this from. I don't know who switched it, who tried to switch it, but we got to bring it back. We got to bring it back. My question is, how should a man approach a woman he's interested in? You know what I mean? Not does race matter when you're dating. You know what I mean? I don't care. This and don't matter a woman's race. I can care less about the race part. I don't really care. You understand? If she's like, what I like, you understand? I don't care you black, white, Chinese, Indian, whatever. You know what I mean? I me personally, I don't care. You understand when it comes to the race part, you know? All right. I'm not reading that one. We just scrolling down right quick, man. Okay. Denver Doc is laughing. Yo. All right, not a problem. Henry Ross says, no woman is easy to talk to, nor should they. Be careful out there, ladies. I'd say you're right. You know what I mean? I say you're right. Because you don't know the mentals of that woman. You don't know she's been through a lot, and she's just very cautious in these days. You know what I mean? You don't know. You know what I mean? Shemaiah 40 says, they sick for real. Because who cares what color your skin is? We are all the same no matter the color, man and woman. Listen, that's cool for sure. That's cool. What's up to Cynthia Davenport? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Appreciate that. As we have this conversation. Shout out to the people in the background who just low riding. Shout out to all the low riders out there, the screen recorders. You know what I mean? The haters, the trolls, the false prophets, and whatnot. Those who conjuring up stories. They probably watching. They know they probably watching. You know what I mean? What you watching for, huh? You think I'm gonna send some documents, huh? Shout out to them people. All right. Patrick T says she may now have the spirit yet, John. Therefore, you talk to the flesh just like the people on your job. I wonder where you get that from. Brother SB says, I would say something simple like greet her, shake her hand, ask her name, and have a simple conversation. All right, that's cool. That's cool. That's reasonable. You know what I mean? Frozen Mountain says, what up, what up, what up? Shout out to you. Says, hello, church family. Stopping by to say hi. Blessings unto you all. Appreciate that. G. Williams says, approach humbly with true intentions, with clarity, testing the spirit to decipher if she is for God. He says, walk the talk. Walk the talk. All right. What's up to Christopher Hanley? He says, black sisters, Latinas, Afro Latinas, etc. As long as she's a nice person. All right. I mean, I get it. David B says, a good woman is a good woman. The color doesn't matter. The problem is finding a good holy woman. Finding a good holy woman. Wow. I mean, you're right about that. You're right about that for sure. You know what I mean? Henry Ross says, all dust goes back to dust. So what is snow bunnies unless we're talking about actual beasts? Yo, Henry Ross. Oh my goodness. He said all dust goes back to dust. So what is snow bunnies unless we're talking about actual beasts? Women aren't beasts. They're mankind, human beings. Yo, Henry Ross, man, you funny, man. You is funny, Henry Ross, man. Shout out to the whole Utah, at Henry Ross. Ah, man. Yo, that was funny right there, Henry. Appreciate that. As we go to some more comments. Harry O says, I look for eye contact. Eye contact. Eye contact. Hmm. That's cool. Eye contact. Very important. Yeah, man. Appreciate that, Henry. Herb Wise. Appreciate that. Um, hmm. Let me see who else. What's up to L30? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Holiness after hours. He says eye contact will get you in trouble sometimes. Oh man. All right. Yeah. G Money says, as I said earlier, use discernment. You said people need to be real in the chat. Skin tone, color, age, and size all matters. Let's keep it real. No need to be correct, but you need to be honest. You said it all matters. It matters. I would say it matters in the sense of one's preference. I will say that one's preference. So I agree with you on that one. You know what I mean? Some men like um, skinny women. Some men like curvy women. Some men like a little bit more weight on them. You understand? So it goes hand in hand. Everybody has different preferences. Every guy has different preferences for the most part. You know what I mean? So she could be nice, she could be godly and holy and stuff like that. But what if she's not the man's preference? You know what I mean? What if he's not attracted to her? You know what I mean? Is that a problem? Is that an issue? Would he be wrong for not pursuing with her because he's just not attracted to her? How big is attraction for the men out here? That's my question to the men. How big is attraction? You know what I mean? When you looking at that woman, you understand? Or if you attend the same church or temple and stuff like that, she may be nice. Y'all may be having good conversation and whatnot. But what if you ain't attracted to her? All right. What's up to Jermaine? Shout out to you. Appreciate that. What's up to Andrew Jackson? L30 says, how should you approach a woman? Very easy. Make sure you don't. I ain't even gonna say that. Listen. I ain't even gonna say that. Listen, I don't even want to mention that fella name. You know what I mean? All we can do is pray and forgive the brother and those other individuals who's in that mess. Pray and forgive them. You know what I mean? I mean, hey man, I agree with you on that one, but I agree with you on that one at L30, but we still got to pray for them. Still got to pray for, crusty looking, rusty people like that. You know what I mean? Just pray and forgive them, and we're going to keep doing our thing with these conversations for the most part. But you're right about that. You're right. You know what I mean? You're right. you know? You funny, L30. You funny, man. You funny. Wow. Oh, man, that was funny. That was funny. All right. Denver Doc says, yeah, you're not going to be laying with no spirit, so choose wisely. Patrick T. He says, can you go on a trip together out of town if you stay in separate rooms? If your TOG asks, because 2 trips out of town is a requirement in my book. What are you talking about, man? You know what I mean? I mean, personally, I don't really care about your book. I don't think anybody else care about your book. We just speaking in general. You know what I mean? It's not you're trying to make it an organization thing. You know what I mean? You're trying to make it an organization thing. When we speaking, we having an in general conversation. You know what I mean? If that's the case, then they would have to speak to the ministers and whatnot. They would have to speak to the ministers. So I don't know why would you ask me or anybody else that question. You know what I mean? That's an answer to, I would recommend for them to ask a minister upon that. You know what I mean? And I'm guessing the ministers would say, just wait till you get married. You know what I mean? That's just my guess. They would say that. You know what I mean? But we know how our flesh is. You know what I mean? No, listen. Stop it, man. Stop it, Patrick T. Stop it. Stop it, because you're trying to make it an organizational thing, and you know good and well if two people, a man and a woman, go on a trip, they ain't staying in no separate rooms. Get out of here. I don't care if they TOG or not. Come on now. You flesh. You are flesh. Simple. That fine woman in the other room, she put together like a nice thick piece of leather, curvy, just the way you like it. You know what I mean? No way. Come on, man. Be honest with yourself, man. Be honest with yourself, man. Why would you ask a question like that? Why would you ask a question like that? No man on here, no man, right? No unmarried man, no single man or whatever is going to go on a trip and stay in separate rooms and say, I could really stay in a separate room with this female in the next room. You know what I'm saying? Nowhere in the world. I don't care who you is. You know what I mean? Your flesh is going to be, listen, stuff is going to be on your mind. Oh, come over, let's read the Bible together. Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, all right. You'll be repenting the next day while she's next to you, huh? Snuggled up in that bed. Cut it out, man. You know that's not going to happen. You know good and well that cannot happen. You know what I mean? Listen, I could be honest. I don't know about anybody else on here. I could be honest. Good and well, that's not going to happen. It ain't going to happen, fella. You know what I mean? I don't care how much I say, I could do it. I could do it. Yeah, I could do it. I'm in the room right now and she's over there. You understand? And it's been a long time. She over there. You know what I mean? Oh, she had red on today. She's smelling real good. Oh my goodness. Stop it, man. Cut it out. That's just a dumb question, man. That's a dumb question right there. That's a dumb question. Listen, I might as well start my repenting right there. Once I book the trip, I might as well start my repenting right there. Simple. Because I know good and well that's not going to happen, man. That ain't going to happen. You know what I mean? And I'm being honest. I'm being honest right here. You know what I mean? So I think it's best, listen, not to do it. You know what I mean? Not to do it. I'm not saying that, I won't do it, because it'll be hard to not do it, because, it's a lot of things that we struggle with. You know what I mean? You asked the question about the TOG, and I said I recommend for them to ask the minister. Minister's most likely going to say, don't go until you're married. So I wouldn't even bring that question to a minister because I should already know. I think Gino, he says, can a man take fire in his bosom and not be burned? Why would you even tempt to do something like that? Why would you? Why would you even tempt to take a trip somewhere and book two separate rooms, knowing good and well y'all is not going to stay in different rooms? Oh, you want to come over? Yeah, we could sit down and play solitaire together. Yeah, okay. Next thing you know, you'll be playing strip poker. Huh? You're taking her head covering off now, huh? That'd be the first thing. Huh? Stop it. From solitaire to strip poker. Yeah, okay. Cut it out, man. Cut it way out. Way out. Way out. This man said drop the link. You could tell he's not YouTube savvy. Man said drop the link on a mobile phone. Wow. Holiness After Hours says physical attraction is the most important asset a woman has to, you said has to a man, as it is what generates interest and is easy to confirm. Afterwards, the hard part is confirming what's in her mind and heart. Wonderful. All right, Khadijah Reeves says, this is not for children. You got that right. It ain't. It ain't, man. It ain't. Wow. Wow. Let me go back. Let me see. So he said in his book that I asked because 2 trips out of town is required in my book and at least two dates. Wow. Wow, man. Listen, I ain't all the way there. I ain't all the way there yet, but I wouldn't recommend that. You understand that? I wouldn't even recommend that. You know what I mean? That's just saying, listen, go out and have all of the bedroom activity you want. That's what that's saying. You just covering it up. That's all you're doing. Yeah, in my book, you can have 2 trips out of town together and at least 2 dates. 2 trips out of town. That's in your book? That's in your book. You might as well say, listen, just prepare to change, get the sheets changed, the covers changed, and everything. Just bring the massage oil, bring the Luther Vandross, the R. Kelly, the Next, the Jaheim music and stuff like that. Get the candles, the rose petals. Get the wine. Get the Taylor Port, the Sutter Home. Just get it. You understand? That's what you're saying. That's exactly what you're saying. I don't care how you try to dress it up. At the end of the night, that's what's going to happen. Simple. At the end of the night, that's what's going to happen. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter if she's on her menstrual. There's other things that can happen too. Huh? So stop it. You know what I mean? You can't get away from that. Can't get away from it, man. Stop it. You know what I mean? Oh, man. This is funny. What's up to Israel? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Ah, man. Shemaiah 40 said, it's easy to let someone know they not your type. Come on now. We are all adults here. Absolutely. I agree with you on that one. I agree with you. You understand? Men could do it. Listen. I'm not interested. No hard feelings. I don't think we could work. Sometimes she could be attractive, and it's just the compatibilities is just not there. You know what I mean? G Money says attraction is very huge and is important in my eyes and will be a deal breaker. It's no need to fake like you like someone in that way. If you don't, you said you guys will end up not having any kind of friendship. All right, I agree. Holiness After Hours says, why go on a trip just to stay separate? Could have stayed home for that. That too. David B says, those beans might get to jumping. Might. Might. Me personally, I say will. Wow. All right. Cali boy. What's up to Trusting the Gods? Words only. Shout out to you. Appreciate that. All right. Dioki says, don't set yourself up for temptation. Absolutely. That's all that is. You know what I mean? That's all that is. David B said his book seems like it's garbage full of bad advice. Trusting in God's word only said that's the hard part. When you ask a woman to court, is figuring out what's in her mind and heart. Pastor is right. This thing takes time to figure out. Absolutely. Henry Ross says it's tempting to be on a trip with someone you're interested in. Be honest, you will have to go up before the church repenting. Wow. What's up, the Truth Talk? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up, the Zero? Shout out to you. Henry Ross says, physically or mentally, if guilty in one, you're guilty in all. Wow. All right. Shemaiah 40 says, never lead someone on cause they'll have the wrong ideas about you in that type of way, trying to be with you in a relationship. Absolutely. L30 says, Tony, I think Pat means he can bring a woman plastic doll to a trip, but even then he might not resist. Wow. Ain't that something? Cali Boy TOG says, never settle for less just because you're lonely. That's a good point. Michael Hollingsworth says, if a man or woman that they are just not interested in, just move on. But some can't take rejection. You're right about that. You're right. Dioki says, exactly, don't make a fool out of anyone. If you're not feeling someone, honestly, you says, if you're not feeling someone, honesty is the best policy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Henry Ross says, Patrick T ain't telling us all the truth. Remember, God sees our sacred thoughts. Amen to that. Amen to that, Henry Ross. Appreciate that. I don't know what kind of advice was that at Patrick. I don't know where you're getting this material from, in general. You know? Holiness After Hours says, Tony, question. What if a man is feeling what if a man is feeling temporarily feelings for a woman only until he has relations and then the feelings change? How to handle that? That's a good question. When you speak about relations, are you talking about like bedroom activities? Or are you talking about like, them confirming and committing into a relationship at Holiness After Hours? Let me know what you were referring to. You know what I mean? Truth Talk said, just say fornication. Yep. Yep. Fornication. That's all it is. He just trying to dress it up. That's all that is. You're just trying to dress it up. That's all you're doing, Mr. Patrick. That's it. You know what I mean? You said, just pick a date, Tony. What do you mean a date? I'm not looking for nobody. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to refer that to me. You know what I mean? I'm not on here trying to shop for somebody. Wrong person. You says, and I would explain my book. Honestly, I don't know why you keep trying to promote this book. Listen, how many here, how long this guy been promoting this book? How many here bought his book? How many people in here bought this man's book? Huh? Raise your hand. Just put your hands up. Or a thumb. If you didn't buy his book, put a thumb down. Oh man. Put a thumbs down. You know what I mean? Because you keep talking about this book, man. You know? All right? Well, I don't need your explanation as far as like, when dealing with a woman. I got this. You understand? I don't need your help. Never did need help. You understand? The times I went to the mall with my cousin, older cousin at the time, 17, when we learned confidence and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Especially from an individual like you, man. You kind of say some weird things at times. So I wouldn't take advice from you as far as like relationship talk. In that area, no. You know what I mean? No way. No way. You know what I mean? So I don't know where you're getting this from. Maybe another group of people will be interested in what you're talking about. But, you know what I mean? 10 times out of 10, folks on here, whether they go to First Church of our Lord Jesus Christ or not, I haven't seen one person agree with you with that. Or one person who bought your book. You know what I mean? Not everybody on here goes to First Church. This is a public platform. Different people come in and out. And I haven't seen one person agree with you. You know? All right. Um, he said he looks like a caveman trying to get relationship advice. Wow. Number 11 says women don't want to be a man's possession. Why are we trying to force them into marriage? They just want the wedding day and status, really. Wow. What makes you say that? That's crazy. That's crazy. Um, yo, yeah, it's funny. Ah, man. Uh, uh, uh. Holiness After Hours says Tony has multiple kids. He definitely don't need no help from you, Pat. You got that right. You got that right, man. I spend my time focusing on the children. You know what I mean? I don't care if they are adults. You understand? Daddy still gotta be there. You know what I mean? I don't care about that. So why not saying, um, that a man shouldn't I'm not saying he should focus 100% on women if he got kids, but of course he gonna put a lot of focus on taking care of his kids financially and spending quality time and handling his daddy duties at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But whatever works for you, Mr. Patrick T, whatever advice you giving out to individuals who are interested in that, but honestly, I'm not interested in that. I'm not. You know what I mean? That's whatever you're talking about. I'm not. That's not for me. You know what I mean? No way. All right. He says I'll only ask a question and say hello when you meet a woman. Huh? He says Tony, you're making judgments to the audience about what I'm saying. He says, and at the same time, you're not giving me a chance to explain. You kind of sound like a grown man pouting. Honestly, man. That's how I see that. I see a grown man pouting right now. You know what I mean? That's crazy. A grown man pouting. You know what I mean? Listen, a woman like a man who got some a real woman like a man who got some in him. Not a grown man that's pouting like that. You understand? A real woman want a man to protect them, not only physically, emotionally, mentally, and of course spiritually, right? For the most part, So I don't. Your book is an ink for me. That's not being judgmental or whatever. It's not for me. Simple, and it's not for. I wouldn't say it ain't for people on here either. You know what I mean? I ask people, are they interested? Did they buy the book? And anybody read it? Did anybody see it on Amazon or Barnes and Nobles? Did you see it at a flea market? I don't know, Chinatown in New York. Did they see your book somewhere? You know what I mean? L30 is going off on that fella. L30 is going off on that fella. Listen, L30, I don't even watch that fella, honestly. Whatever that fella is putting out, I don't watch it, man. I haven't watched that stuff. So I don't know what's being said. I don't know what's going on. Don't care. And whatnot. We offered the man a contract to do something, but let him keep talking, and whatnot. We're just gonna continue to do our thing, for the most part. You know what I mean? All right. Um, and of course, pray and forgive that fella. Um, all right. So Patrick T says, I bet you more people want to hear about my book than Christopher Span saying how he's from the streets again. What does it have to do with anything? I don't get that. That just don't make no sense at all. You know what I mean? For a fella who goes on opposition's YouTube channels and talks against us and then comes on here and try to promote his book, I don't get that. You know what I mean? Won't you go to the ops Why don't you go to the Ops YouTube channel? Do that over there. Why come over here when you talk down on people about people on here? You understand? And then come on here and try to have conversation with us. You know what I mean? That's a testimony from that fella. You understand? Shout out to Christopher Span. You know what I mean? I don't mind hearing his testimony. You know what I mean? I don't mind that, and I'm pretty sure the people don't mind that either. You know what I mean? It's just the oppositions who you went on. They don't like it. You understand? They don't like it. You know what I mean? They know my man Christopher Span was about to strong arm that fella back in the day. about to strong arm him. You understand? So I don't mind hearing about his testimony. That's good that he's a good brother, that he came from that the streets of Boston and whatnot and changed his life around. You know what I mean? So I don't care about no book, your book, or whatever the case may be. That's on you, man. Who cares? Why you keep trying to come on here and promote some book? You know what I mean? And then on the other hand, you go on opposition's social media pages and talk down on people on here. I don't get it. I really don't get that. And I don't care about it. We talking about this. How should a man approach a woman that he's interested in? How? That's the question at hand. You know what I mean? Not some book. Not some flea market book. You know what I mean? Not some book from in Chinatown. You know what I mean? Not some book you probably wrote in pencil. You know what I mean? Listen, nobody want to hear about that. I don't get it. I don't know why people like you tend to come on here and try to make the whole conversation about them. This is why I say I get why TNT blocked you. I get why other YouTubers block you. You know what I mean? I get it now. You understand? I'm starting to really understand now. You know what I mean? I do normally give people chances and stuff like that, but Cali Boy says when you have kids, you can really care less about a woman for real. What's up, the sister in Christ? He said, that's right, brother. Children always be hours grown, or babies, they are hours, excuse me. What's up to Lee Crawford? Shout out to you. L30 says, I feel you. I'm tied up that fella as well. I'm done with him. Well, I mean, my thing is this, man. You gonna have people on social media talking that way. It's not the first time this stuff happens, man. This stuff been happening since I've been posting the TLG for 10 years now. Almost 10 years, excuse me. So after that individual, it's gonna be another one. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. You understand? And then they're gonna wither away. You know what I mean? Just give it time. Just give it time. Because it takes a lot to keep up with me. It's gonna take a whole lot. It's gonna take a whole lot to keep up with me and whatnot, because we ain't focused on them. Notice we didn't make no direct videos. Notice that. We still doing us. You know what I mean? We gotta stay focused. It's like a boxing match. You know what I mean? Stick to the game plan. This is our game plan. You know what I mean? Outbox them. You know, up, down, right, move, slick them, move. Don't get hit. You know what I mean? We got to stick to the game plan at the end of the day. You know, and not feed it to garbage and nonsense, because that's what they putting out. You know what I mean? They may think we're watching, but I'm not. I'm really not. You know what I mean? A working man, 10, 12 hours? No. You know what I mean? You got to stay focused and, you know, continue to do these conversations, which is, you know, these conversations could help people. You know, it could help me. You know what I mean? Some people on here give good advice to the topics we talk about. So what individuals are tend to do, like that fella, is try to revert the conversation on them. You know what I mean? Or a troll might come on here, or that individual, and he may make a different name and come on here and say a comment against me in reference to him to try to switch the whole conversation on them. You know what I mean? So that's a gameplay that a lot of those trolls do. They try to switch the conversation on them. You know what I mean? By certain things that they say. Strategize. You know what I mean? You gotta really watch that. Next time when you see a troll like that, not just, a random troll, but when they say something in reference to that person or, the individual that's talking about his book, you're gonna see how they try to switch the topic by the comments that they say. All right. What's up to Shaquita? Shout out to you. Holding this after hours says Pat, the definition of a gaslighter. What's up to Daryl Brown? Shout out to you. Yo, Levy Q. He apologized, Levy Q. He apologized. He did. He apologized. He apologized a couple of days ago at Levy Q. So he cool. He good peoples. He good peoples now. You know what I mean? What's up to Zero? Shout out to you. You know what I mean? All right, Truth Talk said, just approach her as a sister just in case she ain't even feeling you. Ooh. Ooh. Man. That could be rough for a lot of brothers out there, man. If you approach the sister in the right manner and she's still not interested in you. Listen, you could have your best suit on. You could have a nice, sharp haircut and all that. You know what I'm saying? You could be smelling good. I don't know what you putting on, some Coach, some Versace, whatever. You know what I mean? You could be real dapper. And she just say, listen, I'm not interested in you. Wow, how you gonna receive that? That could be tough to receive, man. But a humble man could take that. You know? Shaquita says, a man should always approach a woman he's interested in with honesty. Time out for brothers spitting game. Darryl Brown says he should approach her with confidence and respect. Be humble and truthful, and don't try to play like someone you are not. Absolutely. Dioku says a severely nervous man is a turnoff. Build up courage and be brave about your approach. Absolutely. All right, L. Crawford says, I don't believe in game. Game to me is just persuasion. And if I got to persuade anybody, that means they really didn't like me, want me to begin with. All right. Herod Wise says, Tony Harvin, big ups to Captain Zariok. He has Queen's Flip on his channel in their school. Queen's Flip. Queen's Flip. Goofy man. Queen's Flip. Yeah, I mean, the Zariak is, I guess, linking with certain people, whether it's Whack 100, Queen's Flip, Adam 22. Yeah, I mean, I guess he's doing his thing, and whatnot. You know what I mean? Hey, it is what it is. You understand? All right. Nah, no dating network at David B. Nah, no way. No dating network. No. I don't got time for that. You understand? Fellas, they gotta do their own thing, man. They gotta do their own thing out there. You understand? They gotta do their own thing. I think First Church, but Brother Bakari, if you're still in here, I think they had something with like a singles or something like that one time. That they was doing. I forgot what it was called. It was for the singles. I don't know if it was at the main temple or in general. You know what I mean? But I forgot what it was called. But I know it was something like that. You know, it wasn't like a dating network or whatever the case may be. But it was mainly for single people. L30 says, how will you approach a sister from church the best way as possible? Well, I don't want to give that information out too much, but I would say just be respectful. That's what I would say. Just be respectful. Be aware. Be confident. You know what I mean? Don't be so like forceful. You know what I mean? Never mind. Don't try to use scripture to try to pick up a woman. You know what I mean? Just be basic at the end of the day. You know, individuals got social medias. I'm not saying be nosy, but you know, make sure she ain't got a man or a husband or anything like that. If so, respect it. You understand? You might see a sister. Um, I think it was one time a while ago. I think I was in Charlotte at the convention. You understand? And there was a sister. I was like, wow. I was like, wow, man. I was like, wow. You know what I mean? But it was so many people there. I guess she was from a different temple. You know what I mean? And I didn't have an opportunity to, you know, approach. Sometimes you be at these conventions and this could be a woman from Jamaica or a different temple in another country or California or whatever the case may be. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? You don't know. But if something is meant to happen, it will happen. Simple. You know what I mean? If it's meant to happen, then you might come across her later on somewhere. You know what I mean? But respect, I think respect is key. You know what I mean? I think, you know, how you say things is key too. You know, not, oh, how you doing? Beautiful. What's good, ma? No. That's stuff we did back in the day. You know what I mean? Definitely be aware. For sure. You know what I mean? You said baby cologne. Huh. All right. G Money says, T, as I said earlier, the world loves the controversy and negative gossip, which is a crime in my eyes. That is why all church folks ain't godly folk. Remember, there are church people and there are saints. Absolutely. Herdwise says, will you be open to let people like that on your channel? Queen's Flip? Queen's Flip. I mean, I interviewed the guy Fresh Out before. Um, Queen's Flip. I don't think Queen's Flip. Um, I don't think he's really for this channel because I don't think a lot of people may know him. There's some people know Queen's Flip, not how we know him. We know Flip from being funny. We know Flip from the battle rap world. We know Flip when he did the T-Mobile video. You know, a lot of us know Flip based upon the silly videos he do, but a lot of people I say on here don't even know. They may not know who Queen Flip is. How we know him. You know what I'm saying? How we watch the Queen's Flips or how we watch, you know, certain individuals on YouTube. But as far as like if he can keep his composure to have a decent conversation or interview, sure. Queen's Flip, you know, Hassan Campbell was a candidate at one point. You know, there's a lot of individuals. It all depends, man. It all depends. You understand? You know, but you just never know. You never know. All right. Let me see where we at. You said, "Hey Tony, Mick, what is that? McErin? You said, "Hey Tony, well if a man's interest in a woman, he better pray on it first. Let the Holy Spirit lead him as well as his emotions." What's up to an encouraging word? AEW, my daily news. He says, "Greetings, Tony, and all the saints here." Single seminar. I think that's what it was. Single seminar. Yep. Seminar. You know what I mean? So listen, as far as like a date network, that ain't for me. At David B, I don't have the time. I don't have the patience for that. I let the ministers handle that. I let them handle that. Listen, they'll you know, give better advice than I can. You know what I mean? All right, Levy Q says, I'll be honest, Tony, I think I may have come off shy as a man because I have a speech impediment and I don't too much around, I guess you may talk too much around people because I'm a little embarrassed about it. Right? Let me see. We're just scrolling through. What's up to Mark? Shout out to you. Darrell Brown said, you would want to meet a woman in the church, but that would be hard because you are both there to get the word and save your soul from hell. Like you said, Tony, be respectful. Don't make it about the Bible. Absolutely. What's up to Priscilla? You says, Brenos, no chess. I appreciate you with no drama every time watching for over 6 years. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, you know. Glad you noticed that I don't engage in gossip. I don't engage in nonsense. I stick to the game plan. You know what I mean? We stick to the game plan. That's it. You know what I mean? We got a lot of ideas. We got a lot of things we can talk about. We got a lot of ideas we could put out video-wise and stuff like that. No need to focus on drama and nonsense with a bunch of men gossiping. You know what I mean? All right? So I appreciate that. All right, Shaquita says, ladies, if a brother steps to you after service and the first thing he asks is, hey, sister, are you married? Run. You said run? That's a tough one right there, because what if he just wants to know if that woman is just married, like just out of respect, like he just want to know? Is that a problem? Like if he just asks, "Are you married?" Because he just want to know. He want to be respectful. Because what if she is married? You know what I'm saying? What if she is married? You know? You said no, it's not. Okay. Dioki says, most important, don't be over righteous about things. Over righteous. Over righteous. You're right. All right, what's up to Kevin Williams? Shout out to you. All is well, man. We're just maintaining, having this good old conversation. Appreciate that. All right. Tyrone, what up, what up, what up? Shout out to you. Herb Wise says, the TOG family has taught me a lot. Wonderful. All right. We got a little bit of time left before we knock off. It was a great conversation. You know what I mean? We're looking forward to having more conversations like this. You know what I mean? In general. All right. L. Crawford said that's it right there. Over righteous is crazy. Over righteous. Over righteous. Over righteous men. So if you got any last closing remarks, feel free to leave it in the chat room as we wrap this thing up. It was a great, wonderful conversation. All right. Levy's Q says, do you think it's appropriate asking someone where they're at with God? I think that would come naturally in the conversation if the man and the woman is talking, if they get comfortable with each other. You know what I mean? I also think, both of them could pour into each other as far as like encouraging each other to get closer to God. You know what I mean? I would say that. If one is like struggling with something and the other one can encourage the other person. You know what I mean? It's all about, encouraging each other to strive for the Lord more and more. You know what I mean? Y'all both got striving for the Lord in common, man. That's a beautiful thing right there, I'd say. All right, Priscilla says, start up being friends with her. Wonderful. For sure. At Herb Wise, what's up to DJ Grant? Shout out to you. You says, got to be willing to have that confidence. I'd accept if she says no, and keep it moving as if you already got her. Absolutely. Henry Ross says, when approach a woman, make sure you're decent and smell decent. Oh, man, Henry, you on the road today, fella. You was on the road today. You know what I mean? What's up to DJ Green? He says, hope all is well, bro. Peace, family. All is good, man. You know what I mean? We about an hour and almost 40 minutes in, and it's almost time to wrap this thing up. You know what I mean? We had a great conversation in general. If anybody just now coming on, y'all can run it back. Check out the replay. And Lord willing, we will be on tomorrow. Maybe the second YouTube channel tomorrow. Maybe. All right, Levy Q says, I was in a situation like that, but she felt like I was overrighteous because she didn't believe in what I believe in. David B says, outside of the church, though, it's hard to find a God-focused woman or a man. All right, we got to wrap this thing up. Yeah, I mean, we got to call it a night. God bless everybody out there. I hope everybody have a wonderful night, wonderful sleep. Definitely appreciate y'all for coming on, those participated in the chat room. And those in the background, shout out to y'all too, for the most part. And do remember, do not pay no mind to trolls, haters. As the preacher man says, do not go back and forth with them. Don't even watch their videos. Don't even say their name in no chat room to boost their algorithm. Don't do none of that. You know what I'm saying? It's no point at all. You know what I mean? Let them watch us. Don't let them watch us. Let them chime in and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? If they can continue to hate, let them. Let them put out what they want to put out. Who cares? You understand? It's not going to stop us from putting out our videos or anything like that. It's not going to do anything at all. You know what I mean? So God bless to everybody out there. I hope everybody have a wonderful night. In general, Tony Harvin of the Tony Harvin YouTube channel. I'm out. Peace.